Hey guys, it's Jessie. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. Sorry if this is slightly skew or something. My camera is broken, so it's like missing like a little screw. Let me take a picture. Let me do a little video. This is what I'm seeing right now. So I am really upside down, which I love. So like I can't see, like I can't do that brain work to see like if I'm holding things upright, if it's even. We'll just have to pretend. Anyway, it's just for the intro. But today we have a new reading vlog. So welcome back. Hi. Hello. And yeah, I'm super duper excited to start this one. I am nervous too because today we are going to be reading my most intimidating books. These are very highly anticipated for me. They're all kind of intimidating for different reasons. I know you guys will be very excited about some of these. So yeah, I'll just start showing you what we're going to be reading this week. So we have a very hefty stack here of books, so I'll run you through, I think, in the order that I'm going to read them. So I'm starting off with Babel. We're reading Babel, Babel. I would call it Babel, so that's what we're going to be referring to it as. We're reading Babel first in today's video. So this is a heavy fantasy about colonization, translation, etc, etc, set at Oxford. It's like a thick book. There's like footnotes. I believe it's divided up into 5 books. I think full title is Babel, or The Necessity of Violence, an Arcane History of the Oxford Translators' Revolution. So I've heard it is heavy, potentially sad. It's a long one. It is over 500 pages, about 550 pages. And yeah, I'm going to be starting this one first, starting this today. Hopefully I can get maybe to book 2, maybe like 100 pages in. Maybe I think that's still book 1. I don't know. Anyway, hopefully I can get a decent chunk through this. I do have the audiobook for it, which is why I'm starting with it, because I just got back from a trip, my room is a mess, and I have lots of little chores to do that I can listen to the audiobook for. But I do want to read a chunk of it physically because I think I'm going to understand it best that way. Then the second book we have here is In the Lives of Puppets. This one, it's like intimidating because of the size, the context, like the topic. This one is In the Lives of Puppets, which is potentially my most gorgeous book ever. It's also a fun little sign edition. So this is stunning. This is by TJ Klune, who wrote The House in the Cerulean Sea, which is probably my 3rd favourite read of the year so far. And this is like Pinocchio slash Swiss Family Robinson slash, I've heard, Wizard of Oz, kind of retelling about puppets and robots and stuff. And it's meant to be very wholesome, very cute. I have had mixed reviews about this, and I did give his other book that I've read 5 stars. This is a 5-star prediction for me. The reason this is intimidating is because like I need to love it. Like if you just look at it, she's like stunning. Like I have to love it. Then we have a classic. I've never read a classic before. This is Emma by Jane Austen. This is the library edition, not the library edition, I just got it from the library. This is one that I am reading for a book club I'm part of. It's again about 400 pages, small writing, and a literal classic. It's a Jane Austen. Intimidating, obviously. I've never read a book like this before. I've read Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde for school, but that's not really the same because you're reading like a chapter at a time and like the teacher's basically telling you everything that you need to understand from it. So I have no idea about the plot. I've never read a classic really, let alone a Jane Austen, but I've heard that she is like the most approachable out of all the classic writers. So yeah, we will see, but that is another one on the list. And finally, one that I wanted to get into for ages but everyone loves, ACOTAR. We are also reading ACOTAR. Oh my god, the text in here is also tiny. So this also kind of fits similarly to In the Lives of Puppets, where I really want to enjoy it, and it's got such a strong reputation that I've just kind of been avoiding it and putting it off because I'm a little bit nervous. This one is more readable. Again, 400 pages. We've got so many long books in this video. Definitely longer than a week it's going to be. But yeah, ACOTAR. So 2 books that I'm scared of because like I think they're going to be like a less chill read, very dense, and 2 that I'm scared of because I really want to love. So yeah, these are very impressive TBR for this video, and yeah, I'll basically catch up with you guys when I'm a little bit of the way into Babel. Oh my god. Okay, so it is the next day and I do have a little bit of an update for you guys with Babel. So I had a lot of like errands I needed to do yesterday. I read about, I'd say 30 pages, 2 chapters or so of this physically, and then I continued on with the audiobook for the rest of the day, and I ended up getting a decent chunk of the way through. So I'm now on book 2 and I'm a little bit of the way through. I'm a couple chapters into book 2. I am on to chapter 8, page 133, and I'm really unsure of how I'm feeling about it so far. I definitely like it. I think a lot of the first book especially is very much set up, and I feel like now we're potentially going to start to get into kind of the bulk of the story, which makes sense considering like the proportion we are through. But normally like 130 pages into a story, I wouldn't expect to still be kind of like getting into it, but I am very intrigued by it. We're following Robin, who has been taken by this rich Englishman from Canton in China, and basically is taken to Babel, which is a building in Oxford, like a translation institute, in like the 1800s, where they are using language on these like silver bars, which kind of creates magic. So if you have kind of like a word in Chinese and a word translated into English, kind of like the kind of lost meaning in between the words almost is like what the magic can then do. So it's almost like you had kind of like invisible and then a similar word in Chinese, and then you're able to kind of like become invisible, if that makes sense. Like it's a bit more complex than that, but that's kind of basic of the magic system. But yeah, we have met Robin and his cohort for the year at Babel, and yeah, overall I'm very intrigued by it. I think I'm going to listen to a little bit more by audiobook, but I think it's separated up into 5 books, and I think by book 3 I think I probably want to be reading it physically, because I think that's how I get the most out of it, and I definitely think I am more involved in the story if I'm reading it physically almost. But I do think the audiobook has been good for the first part to just kind of get me into it, and it is on script. But yeah, I was really worried that this was going to be really dense, really academic, because I know there's footnotes and stuff, but it's actually not. It's very easy to understand. Obviously, like, I'm not stupid, like I do go to uni, so like I probably shouldn't have been worried. Like it's just a fiction book, it's not like an academic book, so I don't think anyone would have like kind of trouble understanding it or like gripping it. I just thought it was going to be really dense, almost written like a classic, and it's not. It's very much, you know, not overly kind of complex words or anything. Like it does make sense, and the footnotes just kind of add a little bit of like contextual information, which is really interesting. In the author's notes she mentioned at the start that she did a lot of research for it, so I'm definitely finding a lot of things interesting about it. And yeah, it's kind of basically talking about colonialism, like how they're taking this language from all of these kind of places that England's colonized at the time and just like using it for their own benefit, and like talking about whether like translation is an act of betrayal type of thing. So a very interesting discussion, and I really hope, I mean, I'm sure we're going to delve much more into it. But yeah, overall I am enjoying it, and it's like not something I can't put down, but it's definitely something like I'm intrigued to pick up, if that makes sense. So I'm not dreading getting through it. Like I'd probably rather be reading a thriller personally, but overall I am like enjoying it. I think at the moment it's sitting between a 3.5 and a 4, just because like we haven't really got into any of the drama yet, like we haven't really got into any of the action, so I definitely expect it to pick up, but like vibes are like good at the moment, do you know what I mean, for me enjoying it. So yeah, I'm going to continue on with this. I might update you guys maybe when I get to book 4, because I'm halfway through book 2 at the moment and there's 5 books, so I feel like I think it's quite emotional at the end, so I'll catch up with you kind of maybe just before the end and tell you my thoughts. But it's the next day, so I did a decent amount yesterday, hoping to finish this maybe in 3 days, we'll see. But yeah, enjoying it so far. Hey guys, so I have a bit of an update for you. I'm filming like 2 vlogs at the same time, so I have moved back to uni now. These are like taking me, normally I do like 1 vlog a week, but I'm doing like 2 vlogs over the course of 2. So in terms of Babel, I am now on book 3, so I'm on page 223, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I love it, like I'm really enjoying it. I'm very much into it. I was listening to the audiobook before, but I think I'm actually just going to do it just physically now, because I do enjoy books more via like reading them physically rather than via audiobook. So if like it's just like a solid 4-star, 3-star, I'm happy to listen to it via audiobook, but this one I think could be like it could be a 5, so I do want to read it physically. So I'm taking a little bit of a break from it because I need to read Emma for a book club I'm in, and I'm actually a decent chunk of the way through, because well, the book club was yesterday, I was meant to finish it yesterday, I didn't, but I've been reading a bunch of Emma, and I was going to update you partway through, but I feel like my opinions on the book are quite general and will stay the same all the way through. I am now on volume 3. I'm on page 343, so like I'm a decent chunk of the way through the book now, like I'm near the end, and I think I'll finish this today. So I wanted to sit down and kind of tell you a bit about my thoughts before I finished it, and then obviously I can talk about it afterwards. But it's kind of like generalized things from a classic point of view, because this is the first classic book I've read, first like proper historical book I've read, like written in historical times. So obviously it's a Jane Austen, and I'm actually enjoying it a lot more than I expected. I thought it would be quite tedious, quite tiresome, like difficult to read, but that's definitely not the case at all. I'm really enjoying the audiobook and the narrator. The narrator is Juliet Stevenson, I believe. So if you are picking up an audiobook, I really recommend that one. She's great. And yeah, like this is definitely not as difficult to read as I thought it would be. Like the language is reasonably approachable. Like it's not modern English, obviously. Like the way things are phrased, of course, aren't the same, but it's still readable. It's not like Shakespeare, do you know what I mean, where it's like completely different language. But yeah, I am enjoying it. I definitely don't think the plot is super, you know, tight or anything. Like, it's basically just Emma wanting to like kind of matchmake her friends and existing in like Regency-esque England. Like, it's just a lot of conversations, it's a lot of like characters talking to each other, which is what a conversation is, but like, yeah, it's a lot of that. Like, not much has actually happened, I think, to warrant this amount of pages. I'm not trying to sit here and say Jane Austen could have been edited down more, like, that's ridiculous. Like, I know that's just the style of book, but yeah, like, it's fine. I think for me, like, for a classic, obviously I haven't read any others, but like, I think this is probably quite high up there in terms of what I would enjoy from a classic. So for a classic, it's probably maybe about a 4-ish. I think for my personal enjoyment of it, and like comparatively to books like, you know, some of my favorite books, Happy Place, Beartown, stuff like that, like, this would be more of a 3. So I think, obviously it depends on the ending, I don't know how it ends. I think it would probably be a 3.5 for me at the moment, but like, not that it's a bad book, but I always rate like based more on my enjoyment and stuff. But I do want to kind of give like grace for other classics, because I do want to read more, obviously. Like, I think this is a great introduction. Like, I really want to read Pride and Prejudice, I want to read Dracula, some Edgar Allan Poe, Picture of Dorian Gray, stuff like that. And I'm sure they will all rank up and down depending. Like, I'm sure there's classics I will like a lot less than this and a lot more. So I think maybe like a 3.5 is a solid rating. Obviously, again, haven't finished yet, but yeah, that is my opinion on Emma so far. Normally I would obviously update you sooner, but like, I didn't really have any thoughts. And what I also have found helped is reading the Spark Notes, because I know a lot of people study it, so they have like Spark Notes online, which basically just recaps every chapter. Because firstly, like with audiobooks in general, sometimes I do tune out slightly for like a couple of lines, and then tune back in and I'm ever so slightly confused. But being able to read a recap after every chapter, because certain things in the language and maybe like the nuance and like the subtext I'm not quite getting, because obviously like I'm not used to reading this type of text. So I've definitely found it very useful to have the Spark Notes, where it kind of just gives a light recap of just the chapter, and I just read that after I've read the chapter, and I'm like, cool, I'm like up to date on the plot, like I'm fully aware of what's going on, and I'm like following the important threads, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's been really helpful as well. So yeah, overall it's a very good experience, and I think I will finish it today. I know I was meant to finish it yesterday, but I am now also enjoying it more now I'm not rushing it as well, which is fun. So yeah, this is a good one, and then I cannot wait to get back into Babel. I'm so excited for this one. I'm really loving it, and yeah, I can't wait. I'm also, depending on time, I don't know whether I'm going to be able to read both ACOTAR and In the Lives of Puppets. I hope I will. I found the audiobook for In the Lives of Puppets on Spotify, which is great because you can now read audiobooks on Spotify, which I didn't know before. So yeah, maybe that will help me. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I think I would lean more towards A Court of Thorns and Roses because it's on my TBR for this month, but also like the one that's more intimidating for me is In the Lives of Puppets, so I don't know if I'm just putting it off again, which is kind of the whole purpose of this video not to do. But yeah, anyway, that will be discussed later. I will catch up with you probably when I've finished Emma, and I am about to jump back into Babel because so good. Hey guys, I have a ton of updates for you. Excuse my just out the shower appearance, excuse the mess. I really just want to share these updates with you because I feel like I've been very poor at updating this video, because I've got 3 updates to give you in one pretty much. So firstly, last time I spoke to you, I was starting kind of partway through Emma. I have now finished Emma. I did really enjoy this. I gave this, I think, a 3.75, rounded up to a 4 on Goodreads. I think I watched the 2020 movie adaptation afterwards, and I loved that so much. It was so good, and I think it really helped to kind of put it all into like my imagination, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, seeing it on screen really helped kind of my enjoyment of the story almost like retroactively, which is very interesting. I really enjoyed this actually. I thought it was very readable. I really liked, there was some like comedic elements to it, and I thought it was so fun. Like, I really had a good time with it. I definitely would be intrigued to read more from Jane Austen. I think maybe like Pride and Prejudice. Again, I know nothing about it. I really don't know very much about classics at all, so I think that would be fun to get into, not even knowing the story as well. And then obviously I can watch the adaptations of that as well. But yeah, like, I think thinking back on this, the more I think about it, the more I enjoy it, I guess. I think as well, like, to have such like a fun story, like, that's what it is really, like a fun book, I guess, which I think is maybe a little bit unusual for a classic, which are normally a bit more serious and stuff. But yeah, definitely would be intrigued to read A more classics, B more Jane Austen specifically. And yeah, the more I think about it, the more I enjoy it, and I really think, like, the story as a whole I love. Like the particular kind of book I didn't enjoy as much as the movie, but like overall the story is super fun, so I had a great time with it. I would not have picked up if it wasn't for the book club I was in, but yeah, I was really happy to have finally read a classic. And then Babel, I only had a little bit left. I believe last time I spoke to you I was just coming up to book 5 maybe, and oh my gosh, it's just like a masterpiece, really. This was a solid 5-star for me. I loved it. It made me cry. There was one point where I was just listening to the audiobook and I had to stop, and I was like, I literally brought my hand to my mouth and I started crying because I was so unexpectedly sad. This is just like so powerful as a book. I love the topics it talks about. I love the relationships that were built, and yeah, I just had an excellent time with this. The ending is super sad, but like it does make sense for the book, and I just honestly think this is like a masterpiece of a work. This is definitely, I think, going to be looked back on as like a classic, as a very like monumental book of its time. I think like I definitely think it will be like a modern classic in a couple of decades time. Like absolutely adored this one. It was really incredible. I, again, similarly to Emma, I was quite intimidated because I thought the writing was going to be difficult with the kind of like in-depth topic, but that was not the case at all, with kind of like the depth and seriousness of the topics, and like the fantasy elements as well. But everything was really easy to understand, very well explained, and I thought the writing style was excellent as well. Super gripping and super like not too complex, not overly like wordy when it doesn't need to be. And yeah, I had a fabulous time with this one. And I have another update because with the way that my reading is going to be going in November, I started this video a while ago and I've just been like spacing out the books because obviously they're intimidating. I don't want to read them back to back, but I have a ridiculous amount of reading to do in November, so I think I'm going to knock this video down to 3 books instead of the 4, which means the one I will not be reading in this video, unfortunately, it continues to intimidate me, is In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. Unfortunately, I will be reading this by the end of the year. I have a specific video planned where I'll be reading books off of TBRs that I haven't read yet, and this is on, I think it's been on a couple of my TBRs, so this will be read kind of before the end of the year, so don't worry, I will be reading it this year and you will see me vlog it. But I just think timing wise this isn't going to work out for me in this video, unfortunately, and I had to pick one, and this one was on the chopping block, unfortunately. So again, we'll read that before the end of the year, but unfortunately not in this video. And the one I will be reading is A Course of Thorns and Roses. I know I said this was the maybe, but this was on my TBR for October, so I'm kind of more high priority to read this month than In the Lives of Puppets, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm about to start this one. I'm very nervous. I do have the audiobook as well, so I think I might use that a little bit maybe to start me getting into it. I find that useful with intimidating books and also fantasy books, to have like an audiobook to kind of like guide, like just kind of ease into it, I guess. So yeah, I'm very excited. I really hope I love it and fall in love with the series, but I have no idea what to expect. I know like literally nothing about the plots, so yeah, I've luckily avoided a lot of spoilers, and hopefully I really enjoy it. So I'll catch up with you probably when I'm like maybe halfway through. All right, so I have some updates. This vlog, look guys, like not my best work, I will admit. I have not been updating very frequently. I've not been very good at updating either. Should I have spoken to you yesterday evening when I was on page 200 halfway through? Did I? No. Did I get distracted by the massive spider I found in my room? Did that derail me? It did for the whole night, yes. And now I'm back today, recovering from that situation. Obviously horrible, but we'll move on. You know, it's just been a tough time for me, so please accept that I'm gonna blame that for my bad updating, not the fact that this whole video has been really off and I've been updating late for everything. But I'll talk to you about my opinions halfway through, and then I'll talk to you about my opinions where I'm at now. I was like enjoying it, I was having a good time, but I thought it was kind of like a, you know, just kind of an average one. I wasn't seeing anything too special about it, and it was just like entertaining, but it was fine. Now we've got a little bit further and I'm definitely a lot more intrigued. I think it's really fun. I'm interested to see where it's going to go from here. I know I've heard a lot about multiple of the men in this series, so I'm really interested to see when certain people come up and what other books follow as well. We've got to a point now where like she's got some tasks that has to be done, and I'm wondering, you know, whether we're going to see that in this book or whether that's going to be like, you know, all of the next books. I have no idea what the next books follow, so I'm really excited. I've also met Nesta throughout the whole book. She's her sister, so she's in there from the start, and she is a character that I think the 4th or 5th book follows, and everyone says they don't like her. I love her. I think she's a queen. I think she slays, and I'm excited for her book. And yeah, overall I'm intrigued by it. I will say this is minor spoilers. If you know the book that it's like based on, then this won't be spoilers, but I'll put spoilers on the screen anyway in case you want to avoid everything. But obviously it's a beautiful Beauty and the Beast retelling, the part that kind of like reflects, you know, the curse that's put on the beast and what he has to do to break the curse, I found so funny because it's just like hyper specific, and it really made me laugh. I think it was so funny the way that she kept kind of going on about what were the different steps, and I was like, oh my god, okay, we get it. That really made me giggle and kind of took me out a little bit. I was like, that's maybe not the best of storytelling. And also after that we got a massive piece of exposition like surrounding that, like it was full on like story time, like okay, like maybe we could have like dropped this in different portions rather than having like this one character tell us everything. But besides that, I'm really enjoying it, and yeah, I think this is such a fun time. I probably would sit maybe a 4 stars. I think I gave The Serpent and the Wings of Night a 4.5 or a 4.25. I'm enjoying this one a little bit less than that one, but I do think this has very strong potential for like the rest of the series, so I'm definitely going to continue on with it, definitely enjoying it. But I think maybe a 4-star at the moment, and yeah, I'm excited to finish it off. Again, I'm on page 305 and I believe there's about 400 pages, if I believe it's correct. Oh, interesting, I've just seen a name of someone at the end of the book. I'm interested to see how that works into things. Anyway, not getting too distracted, I've got about 100 pages left. I don't think I'll finish this tonight, unfortunately, although I really want to, just because I'm actually filming a Swap My Screen Time for Reading video, and I'm just kind of reading this outside of that on the same days, because I like to make things difficult for myself, I guess. So I'm going to be reading for that video and not including this book in that, but I might finish this off tomorrow. Listen to actually the whole thing via audiobook, to be honest, and I've actually really enjoyed it. Normally I don't love audiobooks, but I feel like it's really like helping with this one, and I'm really having a good time. I don't think my enjoyment would have been much higher through reading the book, but yeah, overall very positive. Not like obsessed with it the way that I think a lot of people are, but I also think that will come with the rest of the series. So yeah, I wanted to update you now because I'm going to cook dinner, so I'll probably listen to a bit more of the audiobook. And yeah, I mean, I think tomorrow I'll probably finish it off. Again, I've just seen another, okay, I need to stop flicking through because I'm really excited to see how certain people are going to come into it. But yeah, that is my update. I'm really enjoying this, so yeah, see you probably when I finished it off, to be honest, unless something crazy happens. Okay, so I'm here to, why is the camera so skew? You're literally flat. There we go. To wrap up the video that I feel like has taken me years to film, I thought I would talk to you about my final thoughts. I believe I already talked to you yesterday. It would have been yesterday. How do I not remember? Yesterday? Was it yesterday? About my final thoughts on Akatar, maybe? I can't remember. Well, I'll run it through now and then I'll cut it out if not, but I really did enjoy it. I thought it was so much fun. I definitely got a lot more into it towards the end. I think I'm going to settle on a 4.5 for this one. Really fun. I'm really excited to continue on with the series. Like, I know what you guys are talking about with Rhysand, I think it's Rhysand. I'm a bit obsessed with him, I can't lie, like I really can't lie, and he was barely in the book. But anyway, I'm so excited to continue on with the next one. I think I'll probably pick it up, I'll see if it's in the shops when I go book shopping when I go home, and then I might pick it up in the next week or so, we'll see. But yeah, super excited to start the next one, and yeah, this was so much fun. I definitely think it's just going to go on an upward trajectory for me. I think the first half was definitely a lot weaker than the second half. I think I do find that a lot with fantasy books, that especially the first half of the first book, that I'm a bit like, ugh, like not sure how I feel about it, and then once I'm in the world, I'm really immersed in it, I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, this is definitely a solid one. I'm so happy I finally got around to it, and I can't wait to continue on with the series and finally be in with everyone that's talking about it. And then we had, I guess Emma would be next, so I started Babel first, which was such a fun surprise for me. I had such a, I wouldn't say such a fun time reading this. I definitely had to kind of like not force myself to read it, but like it wasn't my preference to pick up, but like looking back on it, I'm glad I've read it. I'm glad that like I'm aware of the story, and I'm really glad that I read it before watching the adaptation. I think that was super fun. I think I might do a series next year of reading books and then watching the adaptation. I think that might be really fun and like a fun thing to chat about. So yeah, this was a definitely positive one. I think 3.75. And then my 5-star read was of course Babel. I've talked in depth about how much I love this. It's incredible. Like, it really is like just such a monumental book, and yeah, I love the discussions in it, and I love how it can keep things in certain chapters very light-hearted, and also like talking in depth about these issues and stuff like that. And yeah, it was so good as a book. Like, it was just excellent. So yeah, we had some very solid reads, some very famous reads, I guess, in different ways, all in different ways maybe, but yeah, I had such a fun time reading these, and yeah, I can't wait to continue on with A Court of Thorns and Roses, read more classics, and read from Hour of Climb. So very positive. I hope you guys did enjoy this reading vlog. I know it was kind of all over the place. It's not one of my best. it's not one of the best, I will be honest. I think I didn't have much b-roll, and also like I was filming it over a larger period of time and I wasn't updating as frequently as I would have liked to. But besides that, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to give it a like down below, hit subscribe and turn the bell to join a little club, and make sure to turn on all notifications. Then you'll be notified every single time I post a new video. And if you want to watch one of my other videos, there'll be 2 on the screen now to pick from, as well as they've linked up in the cards from earlier. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.